Hi, it's Jo Painter here of confidencecoachingforwomen.co.uk, and I'm excited to say that this is day one of your 5-day career review for 2018. And over the next 5 days, I'm going to be taking you through different aspects of your career, helping you to ask the questions, to review your career so far this year, and to plan ahead for 2019. So let's start off with the question of why is it important to review your career? Well, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking of their career as something that just happens to them, not something that they actually have control over. And that means that they just go along with what happens in their career rather than treating it as an actual project. So whether you're looking to make real progression in your career and you're looking to move up maybe through different companies and through different roles to get to the senior level, or whether you're quite happy at the level you're in your career and you just like to enjoy it and get more satisfaction and fulfillment, treating your career as a project is really important. And as part of a project, I'm sure if it was at any other part of your work, you would be doing a review. You'd regularly be looking at where you are, what you'd like to change, and what more you'd like to achieve. So that's what we're going to be doing as part of this 5-day career review. And today we're going to start off by looking at the area of expertise. And you might be thinking, why are we doing it just a couple of weeks before Christmas when there's a lot going on and we're all busy with planning as well as with work for our home and our family Christmas? But it's an excellent time because if you can review your career now, you can have ready your ideas and the changes and plans that you want to put into place for the start of January. So you'll be ahead, well ahead in terms of your planning to hit the road running when you get back after Christmas. So, as I said, today we're going to be looking at the subject of expertise. So what is your area of expertise in your career? So if I think about myself, I have expertise around coaching and coaching of senior women, particularly in their careers, their visibility and confidence. So I need to look at what are my coaching skills, how have I improved them over the year with continuing professional development, how have I kept my coaching skills up to a higher level, how am I challenging myself to move them forward. But I also need to look at my skills in public speaking and doing presentation, my skills in marketing and how my expertise needs to develop that way in 2019. And if you work in an area of, for example, law, then how are you keeping your skills in terms of your legal expertise up to date? How do you plan to do that in 2019? Perhaps you're in finance. How are you keeping up to date with the regulatory changes or the FSA, what their requirements are? How are you keeping up to date with the areas that are your expertise, whatever your particular career industry is? So if we want to review how your expertise has changed and improved in 2018, then I've got some questions for you to ask yourself. And I'll put these questions in the comments underneath so you can take your time to review them. So my first question would be, can you think of a time in 2018 when you really used your expertise, your levels of knowledge in your particular area successfully? So can you think of a situation where you were able to put your expertise into effect really successfully? So once you've thought of that, I'd then like you to think of a time when you wish you'd had more expertise and knowledge. Can you think of a situation this year where you would have liked to have had more expertise and felt that would have been really helpful for you in your job? Okay, so now that you've thought of those two situations, think about how you would score your expertise level. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is you really struggle with your expertise and you need to do some work to develop it, and 10 is I'm as good as I can possibly get in my expertise level. Give yourself a score for where you were at the beginning of the year, where you are now as well. On a score of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely sort of perfect, I've got all the expertise I could possibly have. But before you give yourself that score, just have a think. Does my job really require me to be the specialist? Does it require me to be the total expert in this area? It may be that you do, or it may be that you have a team working for you that can be the experts and that you just need to have a working knowledge. So before you decide on your level of expertise, think about, where do I actually need to be in my job? Okay, so my next question for you is, if you have decided what your score is on expertise for the moment, at this point, what do you want it to be by the end of 2019? Is it just staying the same, or do you have a level of expertise or a particular specialism that you want to increase on or improve your knowledge on for this coming year? So what would that score you at the end of 2019? Set yourself a challenge. How are you going to grow, and what's going to change for you this year? Once you've identified what that is, I'd like you then to think, what are the actions that you're going to put into place this year to develop that? Are you going to shadow somebody else? Are you going to attend a conference? Do you need to go on a course? Do you need to study some particular products and get your knowledge really up to speed? What are the actions that you want to take in 2019 that are going to get that score level of your expertise to the point you want it to be? So those are the questions that I'd like you to reflect on. And just to tell you a little client story, I had a client who's a partner in a legal firm this year, and one of her particular areas of development was that she wanted to feel confident that she could speak up even when she wasn't 100% right. So she wanted to improve her expertise level so that it was at a working knowledge so she could answer questions. But she also wanted to be able to feel confident that she could share that knowledge even if she wasn't 100% sure. Now, working in the legal area, obviously she needed to have some accuracy, and sometimes you need to be 100% right and sure of what you're about to say. But at other times, you can give your opinion, share your thoughts, or even make decisions when you aren't 100% sure of the answer, of whether you're going to be right or wrong. And in those situations, you've really got to listen into your own self-intuition and the wisdom that comes to you from your knowledge and experience. So we worked together so that she could understand what situations it felt like when she was trusting her intuition. How did it feel? What was going on mentally for her? Was she in a calm place? And did it come from a feeling of, yes, of course, that feels right to me? Or was the answer coming to her when her head was spinning and she wasn't really sure whether, because so much was going on, so much thinking in her head, she could be sure that it was the right answer? So by really understanding when for her she knew that that was coming from a place of her knowledge and expertise, she could then judge when was the right time to speak up, when she was only 60 or 70% sure. When was the right time to take a risk and put her idea and opinion out there? And developing that has now led her to the place where she really does feel comfortable. She isn't always 100% right, but she's comfortable to put that out there at meetings and to trust that she can either find out the correct answer later on or change her mind or talk to clients in a way that means that she's putting it over so that although she's not 100% sure, she's giving them her best answer at that moment. So it's not always about knowing everything. It's also about trusting yourself, trusting your expertise and your experience. So have a go at reflecting on those questions. Think about what your answers are and what your goals are for 2019. And I'll be back tomorrow to share with you about another area of your job. And the subject we're looking at tomorrow is leadership skills. How are your leadership skills developed in 2018? And what are your plans for them in 2019? So enjoy answering those questions, and please do comment. Let me know what you thought, what your scores are, and what you're focusing on for next year. And if you'd like to discuss your career and your career challenges and plans for 2019 even, I'd love to hear from you. And you can either comment or private message me, or you can book a free call to get your career going for next year to make it the best year ever. And you can book that call with me at www.speakwithjo.com. That's www.speakwithjo.com. I really look forward to hearing from you. This is Jo Painter of confidencecoachingforwomen.co.uk. Thanks for listening.